is now December, as a few days after the moot is when the full moon finally comes around, the 4th of December, and it's and you the as you guys have had a few days to recover from the revelry of the moot. Tens- Tensions are a little high as since it is the full moon again, but it is a Tuesday just like any other. As Adrian, you notice that Izzy set out breakfast before heading out to the schoolhouse,
Okay.
and it is a peaceful day. The Sept is abuzz with preparing for a particular rite that comes around this time of year, and that is going to be on the 21st. The name of the rite, the of course I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. All right, yes. So the seasonal rite, rite of the winter winds, is coming around on the 21st of this month. It is now December 4th. There is talk of performing the rite with the Uktena, and word is getting around that they do it a little bit differently than the European tribes. So that has been a topic of discussion lately and a little bit of gossip. But other than that, it is just like any other day. As Adrian, there is a knock on the door.
He did his normal, got up, ate a small breakfast, and was probably still in the process of doing that when the knock came. So he gets up from the table and goes to the door.
And at the door is Moon's shadow. And you can tell she doesn't look happy, but she gives you the most kind of passive aggressive, polite smile as she says, "Good morning, Adrian."
He takes all that in and looks for a moment before he nods. Morning. Would you like to come in?
I would. I actually wanted to talk to you about something. As you know, she steps inside.
He shuts the door. If she's holding an umbrella or has anything or a coat, an outdoor coat, he'd offer to take it for her and hang it up. And decides to just take her into the front sitting room or whatever. And do you want anything to drink? Some tea or there might be coffee. I don't drink coffee.
Some tea would be great. Thank you.
One moment. And he goes in basically into the dining room and grabs the tea that was made for him and sugar, milk if she wants it, cups, and brings it back in and sets it down next to her and sits down. Well, so what can I help you with?
Well, I came by because the other day there's a a spirit that decided to swing by and tell me his thoughts about you and your Arun.
Which spirit would that be?
I I think you know which one. A
Mm-hmm.
ancestor spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And
I figured.
well, I know that it's perhaps not easy not having a Thurge anymore in your pack, Adrian, but I wanted to remind you directly that each auspice has their place for a reason. And, well, there's. And she pauses a moment to sip her tea, and she continues and says, if you need help with any spirits, any rites, there is a reason why I am the master of the rite.
He nods. So I understand. I'm kind of playing this by ear myself, but I really didn't think that that was going to work. I mean, in a million years, a storm crow going to get an ancestor spirit of a silverfang? I did not think it was actually going to work.
And she actually cracks a smile and she says, actually, I find the whole thing really, really ridiculous as to how you pulled it off. But the spirit in particular wanted me to remind you, though I doubt he realized that I was also a Shadow Lord. And she lightens up a little bit and chuckles, and she says, "But well, I'm not going to make a fuss out of it if you won't."
Well, I mean, if he wants to make a fuss out of it, he should fuss to me, not to you. But I understand. I overstepped my bounds, and I won't be doing that again. While we're in the city, I won't do that.
Yes, just next time come to me or one of the other Thurges. But considering the Sept is mostly Bonars, I don't think that particular ancestor is going to be happy no matter who summons him. But from what he told me, very did a very good show of who's in charge. And she gives you a little grin.
You gotta win your small battles when you can. I don't like what he is sending us out to do, though. I don't think Heath understands the amount of trouble it's going to be to learn his gift.
Yes, I've heard. I think that may have been an act of maybe an act of spite on the spirit's part. Spiral dancers aren't very common this far west, or in the Pure Lands at all, as far as I know. But I imagine perhaps the warder can point you in a direction. If all this news of Leviticus Cornwall and his oil and railroad company is true, then perhaps there's a spiral dancer or other agents of the Wyrm that are setting up around his establishments.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really hoping for it to be one of the dumb ones, the ones that don't last for very long. All we got to do is kill one. Oh, that's going to be a task. So, I know that you guys are preparing for a large moot, the winter moot. Do you need me and my pack to stick around, or can we see if we can go hunting spirals?
Oh, it's going
I'm good either way if we're needed here.
well, it's going to be another 2 or 3 weeks until the right, but I'm certain you can squeeze in a spiral hunt or two before then.
All right. Yeah, if we're not needed, we'll go out for a while. So much better than being here.
And when you say that, she raises an eyebrow and looks curious and says, "Well, why do you say that?"
I don't know, the more I'm away from the city, the more I love being away from the city. The more I'm in the city, the more I think about not being in the city. Maybe I'm listening to my wolf too much.
Maybe. I know even with a big house like this, I imagine it feels small, especially during the full moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it gets that way. It's all right though. We always get out sooner or later. So is there anything else we can do for you guys? Is there anything you need? I mean, I know you didn't send us out to bring the Uktena in, but that was a lucky strike.
Oh, indeed it was. Well, I have nothing that I need right now. But I imagine before you go on your hunt, you could stop by the warder and see if she could perhaps loan you a few talons. I'm sure we have a few to spare in our armory.
Now that's an idea. Yeah, you've been here for a few years. Do you remember any guru going out into the wildlands and not coming back? Maybe one with that had a clave?
None that I can recall in particular. Our the sept has been I'd say I'd say reasonably small for a while now. I think the last year or two, and especially with your discovery of the Uktena, you have put it on the map. But I might recall I believe I do recall a story or two from the early days of the sept when Saint Denis was first established. I believe there was another cairn somewhere while the Geta Fenris were moving north and to the west on their war parties. I'm certain they probably destroyed a cairn or two along the way. I know with this one, the Bonars, from what I hear, practically saved it from dying by calling in their tribe spirit, because the original spirit I might have to ask the Galliards for the exact name of the exact spirit, but the original spirit of this cairn was not rat, and it left when the Geta Fenris and the Bone Gnawers first arrived.
Well, I don't blame it.
And neither do I. I know there's a Silver Fang somewhere out west. I think he's set up in this small dead or dying mining town called Tumbleweed. He and his pack are struggling to keep that cairn's original spirit from leaving.
Down in Tumbleweed?
Yep, over in Tumbleweed, somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
And they're having a hard time keeping the spirit from leaving.
Yeah, from what I heard from one of the silent striders that was passing through, they're trying to keep the original spirit there, but the cairn spirit, Rattlesnake, is angry that they wiped out an entire cairn. I think it was about a year or two back. They wiped out an entire cairn and also lost a good number of their own until there was only a pack left.
I might go down there. You said it's run by this Silver Fang elder, right?
I believe he might actually be... I think he might be Athro. Probably almost an elder by now.
Definitely could use somebody like that owing me a favor. That's good. That's good information. Thank you.
And she nods. And Mary says, well, we have to stick together.
Yes, we do. Gonna have to go see that warder today.
Well, I will lead you to it. And as she finishes her tea,
He stands up and walks her to the door.
yes, I'll see you later or whenever you come back.
Yeah, we'll be around. No worries. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I could help as she heads on her way back to
He
the
nods.
city.
He nods and he watches her go. When she's fairly far away, he puts his fingers to his lips and his tongue and he lets out a whistle. And he calls out to Isaac, let's get our shit together. We're gonna go soon.
Alright, sounds good. And he will head out and start to get the horses ready. And if he can find Heath and Laz, he'll go get them as well. Let them know that they're going to be leaving soon. Excuse me, sorry.
So, where are we going today?
Hell if I know. Guess we'll just have to see. I'm just waiting to see if Adrian got in trouble or not for the bullshit he pulled.
Oh, yeah. That was my fault, partly, I think. Yeah. This is about the spirit thing, right?
Isaac just shrugs and walks off.
Oh, really? You're so much...
You'll find out when you get down there.
Fine. Christ.
As Laz says, what's all this yelling about?
You're leaving. Get your shit and hurry up.
Come on, last, before Isaac and Andrew lose their fucking shit. Again.
But I just ate.
Well, I hope you got enough energy to fucking burn that off.
Take some biscuits to go, and let's go.
Christ. Come on, Laz. Before I drag... He's just gonna drag Laz around with... Come on, let's go. Before, Isaac... What?
He's gonna tip his hat to Izzy, apologize for being so sudden with leaving.
Oh, Izzy's at the schoolhouse.
Oh, she has a schoolhouse. Right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Well, then he doesn't have to apologize for anything. He's just gonna grab food and go.
And so, Heath goes to where, Adrian is. Oh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. Damn it!
Stop dying, you're not allowed.
He goes to Adrian's and, he asks, so, where are we going and how much show did we get into?
I think he's muted.
Now am I not muted?
No, you're not.
Damn button. We're going up the street to talk to the warder, and you don't need to worry about how much trouble I'm in. I handled it.
So, you're not supposed to call upon the spirits to call a spirit, then?
I'm not a thurge. So basically what happens is when I do the job of a thurge, the thurges around me, they get pretty pissy about it. And they kind of come around and say, you're being a dick. We don't judge people.
But you're still being a dick.
I judged myself. I'm a dick. It's what I do.
We know this, thankfully. So, well, I hope Lass is done eating, because he has a lot of calories to burn anyway, so... Ready for whatever trip they're taking us into next, Lass?
As Laz says, sure am, coach.
Ugh, no. And he just walks outside to try to help out with the horses, and gets shooed off, most likely.
So what piss in your porridge? You're more bristly than usual. Ah, right. Full moon, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonderful. We're gonna have to put a muzzle on you.
You know what? I don't have to fucking deal with this with you right now. Especially not at this fucking full moon. God, Jesus Christ, what a fucking cracker.
Hey, just doing my job.
I should probably bring alcohol. Alcohol makes things better. Yeah, you should. You should, Heath. You should bring alcohol. That'll make things better.
Think the Arun's gone crazy.
About 30 minutes later, Adrian comes down and puts the saddle on his horse. He gets up on it and looks to the others and says, I think you're all crazy.
Eh.
I'm perfectly sane. It's just this whole full moon business. So I'm gonna keep myself drunk.
Don't do that.
Mostly drunk. Tipsy.
You know how when people drink too much alcohol, they make really, really dumb decisions? It doesn't change when you're filled with rage.
But alcohol makes things so much better. Just a little tipsy. Not full drunk.
You're a grown-ass man. You do what you need to do, but if you frenzy in the middle of a city again, I won't save your ass. I will hang you out to dry.
I know.
You hear that, Isaac? He says he knows. He thinks he understands what it means when I say hang him out to dry.
Yep.
He'll leave me without a paddle. Once I create my own mess, I know.
No, I mean when the elders get done skinning you, I will put it out so it dries and I have myself a guru skin rug.
Well, at least I'll make Izzy happy with it.
Let's go. He turns his horse and goes out the gate. He stops by the school, talks to Izzy for a minute, makes sure he gives her money, and then they get on the horses and they drive up to the warder's place where the warder normally is.
Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't take long to find the warder. Her building is over by the police station. And I guess you could say she runs a small bounty hunters guild. The bounties are usually different Wyrm creatures or spiral dancers for the daring. It's basically anything that the kinfolk find suspicious or think it's particularly dangerous. They'll hand them off to her and she'll distribute them to any packs coming through. And her small building, it's the Sept Armory and also a shooting range. And when the four of you walk in, you find her organizing through a few papers at a desk as she looks up and says, "Hey."
Before he says anything, there's a quick look around to make sure. Are they the only people there? Are there other people hanging around within earshot?
There are some of the other Iron Riders. There's one of the other Iron Rider packs, the Gunslinger Alphas. You see them. Looks like they're getting ready to head out on a mission of some kind. Other than that, it's kinfolk or maybe like one or two of the Bonars that are checking out the armory. So it's people you know.
He glances back at the pack and then back to her and says, "Morning, Ryan. Moon's Shadow sent me up here. We kind of got a job to do. And I think you might have more answers for me than just about anybody else. But she said that there might be some talons we could borrow. We got to hunt down a spiral and kill it."
And Anna, she pauses for a moment and nods and says, "Yeah, I can spare a few talons. Might be able to spare a talon or two, yeah." And she gets up and she goes into a separate room and she says, and before she goes into that separate room, she stops and says, "Do you guys have any fetishes, talons already? Have the four of you hunted a spiral before?"
Nope, on all accounts.
Sorta, but no. At the mention of the talon, though, he kind of side glances to Adrian.
Adrian's just staring at her.
He nods to himself and just keeps quiet for now.
And she nods and says, "All right, well, I'll see what I can find."
Much appreciated, Ryan.
And she steps into the side room to go through the Sept Armory. And it's going to be a moment as I find the page in the book, so give me a second.
All good.
It's like today I spent, I think, most of the day trying to find like a map for an encounter for you guys. And I spent most of the day doing that. And like I've been working on brainstorming stuff for this session all week, and I didn't write any of it down. Like I wrote down maybe a few questions of okay, they might they might do these things, but other than that, I haven't written anything down. So give
We're
me a
doing
second.
It's okay. She's looking for the talents in the big armory. That's how we go with it.
I must have a lot of talents. Holy shit.
Talent?
You know, if I wasn't an honest man,
What's that?
if I
Talent?
wasn't an honest man, they have that many. I'd like to get my hands on them.
We're about to.
Well, not all of them.
Some of them.
And she comes out with a small kind of burlap sack, and she unties it a bit and sets a few items on the table, and she says, all right, so here's what I can spare. And she pulls out like this smaller bag and sets it on the table, and she says, death dust. Basically, you sprinkle it over a dead body. You can talk to the body's spirit. That might help you with tracking a spiral down. All right, looks like you... And she sets 2 small clay gourds on the table. And she says, this is Gaia's breath. Has a spirit of healing inside. You break it and it will heal you. You break it and it will heal you. Simple enough. And then she pulls out a small wax seal that bears the sign of the full moon. And she says, this is a moon sign. You can take it if you want to. Basically, you throw it at a shape changer, a shapeshifter, Garu, or spiral dancer, Farah, and it will force them to shift into their animal form. Could be a nice surprise for a tough spiral. And well, that's all I can spare.
Well, we can probably do without the death dust.
No, we'll take it anyway, just in case.
All right.
We really appreciate all these, Ryan. Everything we don't use, we will, of course, bring back. One simple question, though. I take it the Gaia's breath is one-time use. Once it's broken, you can't use it again?
Yes.
What about the death dust? Is there more than one use of this? Or same with the moon sign? Does it just go away once it's done?
All of these are one-time use.
One-time use. Okay. So I have to say then, whatever we don't use, we'll bring back.
All right. Well, that's the plan. Anything you don't use, you bring back, and we'll go from there.
And if you don't mind, I have another question. Do you have any bounties out on black spiral dancers?
Well, nothing confirmed. There is I've been getting a lot of rumors about something going on in Butcher's Creek. We don't really get a lot of spirals this far west, or well, as far as I know, in the Pure Lands in general. It's mostly Fomori or Banes, but there is the occasional spiral. Usually they hold up somewhere out in the wilderness, but I've been hearing rumors about this place called Butcher's Creek. Apparently they have a lot of strange looking folk, so to speak. And we don't really have any packs heading out that way. I know there's the roving rat gang up in Van Horn, but they're not part of the Sept, so I can't really keep a good track of where they are or what they're doing. But yeah, if you don't mind investigating Butcher's Creek for me, I could see if I could maybe put in a good word for you to the elders.
Butcher's Creek, is that north near Van Horn, or?
Yeah, it's north over by Van Horn. I think it's on the other side of a ridge. It's along the river. It's by this small lake called Elysian Pool.
Probably down. Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be half a day's ride out. So if it turns out to be nothing, I'll owe you a small favor for wasting your time.
No, it's never a waste of time. Never a waste of time. Butcher's Creek. Yeah, we'll go check it out.
And she nods and says, "All right." And then,
Probably
are you guys taking?
better than going all the way out to Tumbleweed. Whew.
And she says, "Yeah, I've heard Tumbleweed is a shithole, basically out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, we're looking to get back within 2 weeks with a certain accomplishment, so I don't want to go all the way across the map, you know.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be able to go to Tumbleweed, do some good deeds for the nation, and come back in 2 weeks. No.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. All right. Well, thank you for the talents, and we'll get back to you on what's going on in Butcher's Creek.
All right, looking forward to hear it. Well, good hunting, guys.
Thank you. And with that, they leave. Adrian's got all the talents in his hand. He kind of looks at him and says, He hands the healing talents to Laz and Heath, the two that rushed into battle with him. He tosses the moon.
Give me just 1 second. I'm typing it all out in the voice box. But yeah, basically how talents work is to use it, you make a gnosis roll, and if you beat the difficulty, it works. And if you don't, you use it, but it doesn't do anything. At least that's how I understand it.
Yeah, it's just spent. It's gone. But yeah, he gives the moon sign. You said that there were 2 Gaia's breath, right?
Yes.
So he gives one to Laz and one to Heath. He gives the moon sign to Isaac, and Adrian keeps the death dust.
All right. So I got the descriptions of the talons in the voice box. Might look a little wonky because I basically copy-pasted from the book, and sometimes doing that makes it look weird.
It looks okay to me.
All right, I'm going to use the bathroom really quick, so I'm going to be right back.
Okay, I'll be right back myself then.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
He's still out having a smoke.
Okay.
It's a fairly straight ride for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Said it's a fairly straight ride for them.
Oh, yeah. It's basically like ride straight north, take a left at Van Horn, and then you're there.
Well, the road leading north through the Blue Water Marsh, there's forks, yeah, but if you follow it, it'll take you within spitting distance of the Elysian Pool, so they're just gonna follow that road.
Okay. Yeah, and as the 4 of you set out, it's like the water said, it's not even half a day's ride out. So you get there, you ride through the swamps, right through Lake Raw. The kinfolk over there seem to be doing all right, and you get to the Elysian Pool near Butcher's Creek, like by around noon. And as you arrive to Butcher's Creek, you can see even from a distance, like as you are following the river, the 4 of you see that the animals look more sickly here. They look thin. And as you come up on the small settlement itself, it's a collection of basically shacks. And it looks like a small town that's really big into butchering and hunting, as there's on a few of the houses there are hides kind of set out to dry. There's a lot of bones and antlers on display, and on a few of the rooftops there's just piles of animal bones. And the people that live here, they basically look like your stereotypical hillbillies. They look messy, dirty. Even the horses look thin and look like they're in really rough shape. As you're riding into the town, you see a man playing on the banjo, and his head looks, I can't really think of a good way to describe it, but he looks misshapen, almost kind of like bloated, as if from like a birth defect. And you notice that looks like a good chunk of the people here, they look like they have some some form of physical deformity. Like, do you see a few kids playing in the shallow side of the river, and one of them has like a club foot. The people here don't look like they're in good health, and when you arrive, they don't give you the most friendly of looks. They look like they're actively trying to avoid you. And the one person that doesn't immediately kind of leave or give you a glare is this old man just rocking in this rocking chair on his front porch. And he has this long beard that kind of curls a little bit at the end. And he has this kind of this beat up straw hat with a hole in it. And he looks like he's chewing on something as he just rocks in his chair and watches the four of you.
Isaac kind of saddles a little closer to Adrian and it's like, why does it seem like the family tree is actually a stick around here? Like, no branches.
He's looking around, notices the old man kind of tips his hat to him, sees if can get any reaction out of him. Then he leans over to Isaac and says, my only question would be, is this inbreeding? Or are they for more?
Don't drink the water.
I don't do nothing out here. Only drink, he speaks up a little bit louder for the other two to hear. Only drink water you brought. This place might be tainted.
Oh, it wasn't there. I don't know if it's just something that can be sniffed out, or is there a gift?
There's
Do
a
you see
gift.
something? That's fine. I don't think I have that one.
It's a Philodox gift.
Yeah, the Philodox gift that you don't have. I think. That's
Saint
here.
Man, spirit, speech, fatal flaw, truth of Gaia. Nope, I took truth of Gaia. No, I took fatal flaw. That's what it is.
Well, we can probably have a look at one of these and see. Maybe you can find out if it's bloodborne or something else.
And the old man sitting in his rocking chair, he almost looks half asleep, but when you tip his hat to him, he kind of raises his withered hand, shakes a little bit as he kind of does like a small tip of his head back, and says, "Good morning. What are you
Morning, sir.
What are you boys doing out this way? You government? You
No,
feds?"
no, hell no. No. Farthest thing from feds. We're just looking for some good, honest, hard-working folk and see if maybe we can bring in a wagon full of whiskey. It's what we do. We're whiskey men. We're just wondering if people around here might be thirsty. And since that's definitely a lie, they keep my... Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, that's all he says.
Okay. And
Though he can be using the gift Persuasion, which means that the player rolls a Charisma and Subterfuge difficulty 7. Success lowers the difficulty of all social rolls by 1 for the rest of the scene.
Okay, you can do that if you want to.
Yeah, hell, why not? So roll some dice. Difficulty 7, Charisma and Subterfuge.
I swear to God.
2.
All right, that's 2 successes on that, so your social difficulty rolls are lowered, and he eyes the four of you up and down a bit, and he seems to lighten up a little, and he says, well, if you boys are looking to make money, I'm afraid to say we don't really have much. We've got venison, we've got jerky. I think Slim Jim down the way, he points a little bit up the river. He says, I think he's got some good hides, but we ain't got no money. We don't look too kindly on outsiders either, so folk around here ain't the welcoming type.
So no one's thirsty, no one wants some whiskey.
Oh, we'll take the whiskey, just don't expect to make $1 off of it. Gonna have
Trade
to be
is
a
okay.
trade.
Trade is okay. Mankind been trading for thousands of years. We'll take a look around. See how the folk think about it. They don't want it. We'll drive on. No big deal.
And he pauses for a moment and says, well, if I were you, boy, I wouldn't linger too long. Just don't stay out after night. That's when the devils come around.
Ooh, the devils. Tell me more about them. Did they drink whiskey?
And you see him crack a smile a bit as you see he looks like he only has maybe 3 or 4 of his front teeth. And he says, "Oh, I don't think they're the whiskey types."
You've got a moonshine.
Okay, well, we'll make sure and clear out of town then. Don't want to be here after sunset. We won't be here after sunset.
And he nods and says, "Just don't tell anybody else I told you."
Never.
And he nods and says, "Well, you boys take care if you have any leftover whiskey. Well, I don't got much, but I know a fellow that plays a mean banjo. Maybe he and I can put on a show."
We might have to come back for that. You have yourself a good day, sir.
And he gives a nod and says, "Yep." And
He turns his... Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he goes back to rocking in his chair.
He turns his horse and rides with the guys further in, just taking it in. He's also counting people and separating them into classes of men, women, children.
The town is pretty much the same all around. There's a few drying racks for some of the animal hides. There's a few trophies, like animal trophies, like antlers and such that people have made. And the occasional house or two just has like a pile of bones on the roofs for some odd reason. Though it might be just to dry them out or to sun bleach them. It's not too particularly clear. And most of the people either just ignore you, try to avoid you as you ride by, or just give you like the nastiest glares.
Is it possible to tell if any of those bones happen to be human?
Well, at a glance, they look like animal bones. Like you see a few like deer skulls and some antlers with them too.
Right.
Not the friendly folk.
They stick around for maybe an hour, not really talking to anybody that doesn't want them, doesn't want to talk to them. Good Lord. Yeah, they stick around about an hour, and then they go north a ways, like they're continuing to travel on, and a little ways up the road, not too far. They'd probably be able to see us if they were so inclined. But Adrian guides them off the road to a spot, and they set up a campfire and sit down and talk and eat any food that they brought themselves, nothing from that city.
Not the friendliest folk, are they?
No, but they don't have to be.
As Laz says, "A shame no one wanted to buy."
Lass, why do you want to sell my whiskey?
Let alone a wagon full of it. Do you know how hard it would be for us to come up with a wagon full of whiskey?
Yeah, I don't think if you pull together resources, we could get a wagon of whiskey quickly enough to make that work.
Oh, I could do it, but I
Oh.
wouldn't want to.
What are your first impressions of the hamlet?
What are your first impressions?
Aside from giving me the heebie-jeebies, not much. Folk, the
I'm-
struggle of the outside world seems a bit normal, especially if you're not in the larger settlements or the city itself.
How about you, Laz?
As Laz says, "What are your thoughts?" Or, I mean, I don't know, but I don't want to say something feels off, but
Something feels off, say something feels off. Yeah, we're gonna camp out here and rest up, because when the sun goes down and everybody goes to sleep, we're going back in there, see what kind of devils they gotta deal with.
I'll make sure to bring the holy water.
What do you think, Isaac? They just a bunch of inbred rednecks, or...
I don't know. I mean, we are out in the middle of nowhere. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were just a bunch of, inbred rednecks. But in our line of work, could be either.
I don't know, that guy I was talking to seems really badly deformed for being a redneck. How the hell he lived that long if he was born that way?
Well, I mean, look at where we are. Looks like they made kind of a society here, taking care of each other. Hunting, obviously. But I gotta agree, something don't feel right.
Yeah, I think they've weathered a storm too many. Yeah, we'll go back in tonight, get some rest, get ready for a fight.
Now you're talking my language.
Hopefully there's a spiral here.
Are you gonna tell us what we got ourselves into?
He slowly looks over to Heath.
I know. I said I'm sorry. Damn it.
He wants to learn a gift. To learn that gift, he is required to bring one of his ancestors, proof that he killed a spiral.
So, a pup is being sent out to kill a spiral.
He hates me.
Oh.
No. The old Silverfang sent out a pup to go get a spiral. The pup's got friends.
Yeah, another pup. Me, who don't like physical combat. And, no offense, you.
No offense.
I reckon we're going to have a little bit of a problem going after a spiral.
I mean, yeah. I don't doubt that. Actually, I wanted to ask you something. What happens if I don't complete the requirements?
You don't get the gift.
Or you die.
Well, I mean, yeah, TikTok, I guess, on both ends. But seriously, this is a bigger headache than we were getting. That I got us. Wow, I can't talk. This is a bigger headache that I got us into, isn't it?
Maybe a bit. But I've been trying to take a holistic view to everything lately, and seems to have been working out. So I'm just going to consider this part of the Cosmos' plan for I don't know what the fuck.
Getting our asses whooped.
Getting maimed and danced to death.
It's just the first steps on a short road to our untimely demises. Enjoy the journey.
Well, let's go out with a smile, huh?
That's a
And
very,
let's take a few of those fuckers with us when we go.
that's very optimistic.
Look,
What's
you
that?
go into a fight acting like you have nothing to lose. Chances are you might come on top. If you don't fear death, Why not, right?
Why would we fear death?
We don't. That's the point.
You got a point.
I, at least, know what's waiting for us on the other side.
Oh yeah, we never did take that journey to the underworld to show us around. Not that you said that we didn't have any guarantee to make it to the underworld when we died.
Never know.
And as you camp out and wait for night to come around, just watching the town from afar, you see a few of the townsfolk drag out the body of a buck, and they hoist it up onto one of the roofs of the houses. And it seems like one or two other houses do the same. There's one house that has the carcass of a buck on it, and then for some others they just toss up like a few rabbits, maybe a duck or two, and all of these animal carcasses look like they're from the local area because all of them look sickly and thin and probably not good meat to eat. And that happens kind of later towards the evening as the sun begins to set and the sunset fills the sky with various hues of red and orange. And then as the sky darkens and the moon comes out, it's almost a full moon as the face of the moon starts to wane a little bit as the waning gibbous starts to come in. And before it's time to investigate further, Laz speaks up and says, "Before things move on, what's a talon? Is it another word for a fetish?"
Your guess is as my last.
Think of I'm sorry, I was muted again. Think of a talon like a single-use fetish. A fetish is something you can use generally over and over and over again. The talon is a slightly weaker version of those fetishes because they usually are about single use.
And Laz says, I see.
So, a little bit before the sun set, Adrian put more wood on the fire and they're going to leave it at that for then. So, by the time the sun actually went down, the fire was actually low down to coals, enough to keep them warm, but not to brightly light the area.
Okay.
And they're just going to stay awake and watch and listen.
All right. And as you wait and listen, there's a flutter through the trees as you hear the screeching of bats as they emerge from somewhere and start kind of swooping over the town to catch mosquitoes and various bugs in the night. And there's a few of them that fly towards your way, just above your heads as they are catching insects. And in the town, you see a shape move in the darkness as the townsfolk have put out most of the lights, and there's just a blanket of darkness over the town, and you can see the outline of a large hulking shape as it seems to kind of move between the houses.
Quadruped or bipedal?
Quadruped.
No, pretty much when they see it, he gets up, dusts himself off, and says, all right, let's go see what the devils are.
I'm really hoping that's a bear.
I hope it's some dumb human being dressed up in a costume.
Oh no, I could really use some bear meat.
We just had... All right.
I like what I like.
Thanks. He starts walking towards the city, towards the figure.
Okay.
He really does look fearless. He looks like he's not afraid at all.
All right. So, is everybody walking up fearlessly, or does somebody want to sneak around?
No, Isaac is gonna separate. He's gonna come from another vantage point, kind of get a better look.
Okay.
He's just gonna follow Adrian.
As Laz says, I'm nervous but kind of brave in obliviousness.
That's honorable.
Yeah, as you walk into Butcher's Creek again, most of the lights are out, but there's still like a lantern or two that's lit and left hanging out as you see like moths throw themselves against the small light of the lanterns. And this hulking thing, at first it doesn't seem to pay you any mind, but as you draw closer to the town, you can see the eyes seem to glow as it turns its attention to you. And it's this hulking thing that looks almost like a bear as it's hunched down on all fours. And then it starts to stand up, and it's tall, and it has large claws, and it just reaches up and drags the carcass of a buck down off of the roof of one of these small little shack houses, and the carcass just hits the ground with a large thud, and it looks in your direction, and you can it looks in your direction, and you can see these large bat-like ears just pop up in its silhouette as it looks straight at you. And there's a low grumble, a rumble as it speaks Garu.
Hey, Adrian.
That is a spiral.
During the time when he, starts to stand up and whatnot, and when Isaac notices the ears, that's when he's going to prepare to take a shot. He's not going to take a shot right off. He's just going to line up a shot. So I just want to... He is aiming for as many rounds as you say.
Okay.
This is not the time we're about to die.
At the time of the place, Les. Okay.
Oh, he said Garu, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's...
Adrian spends the rage, goes up into his Krynos war form, points at him, says, fall in.
Heath will also use a rage point to switch to Krynos.
Yeah,
All
when
right.
they start switching, Isaac's going to fire.
All right.
Just right at the back of him. Go for like a, I don't know, headshot or something. I don't know.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. Give me just a second to remember how to combat again. I always seem to forget every time it comes up for us.
My believe it's really easy compared to Dune Initiative. There it is.
I got a general question.
Oh, sure.
Because it's the full moon, does that affect my rage levels?
You have full rage. Everybody has full rage.
Oh, all 10 then? Or all dots full?
Like, all of you have your permanent rage minimum.
Oh, okay.
I'm confused.
Just like that.
Oh shit! I forgot to change my form. Hold on. Oops. Action decks. Yeah, dude. Shit.
All right, and then looks like
why is
Laz
that
just needs to roll, and then we're good.
Hmm.
All right, so everybody gets to go, and then the spiral is last.
Mine is 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give me
But
just.
hold on. Make that 25 because I had it on his post still, and it gave me a +2, so it's actually 25.
Okay. All right, and then. So Isaac, go ahead and roll to take your shot. As at the same time, the spiral dancer, in answer to you, Adrian, lets out like this guttural sound, and it well, I'd say from what you've heard about spiral dancers, they are named based off of the first sound they make when after they dance the spiral. So it could be that he's just making a bunch of grunts and growls, or he could be saying his name and introducing himself.
How polite.
Alright, and then it looks like everybody gets to go first before he does anything combat related.
Alright. So I go ahead and take my shot.
Yep, go and take a shot.
I'm gonna pop a willpower into that though. Let's do that. So a total of 5. Let me take off that willpower really quick before I forget.
Alright,
Alright.
so I believe that means 4 carries over to the damage.
That was a Winchester, wasn't it? Yeah, 4. There you go. And 5 successes.
Alright. Okay, so he is going to soak. And he doesn't soak as he takes 5 points of bashing damage.
Okay, cool. Alright. And that's it for me.
Alright.
He's gonna keep his distance for now. Yeah.
Yeah, talents can be used in any form. As Isaac takes his shot and the shot lands as this spiral dancer is standing up, it hits him square in the chest, and it doesn't look like it does much, as you see like the creature's hide stops the bullet, but you do see like a trickle of blood seep from the wound. And
Question.
Yes.
Real quick. How many rounds would it take to change ammo? I totally didn't think about that. He does have silver bullets.
Give me a second. I can look that up really quick. I would assume like a turn.
Well, actually,
Thing is,
using
it's
yeah,
you've got a lever action, right?
right.
All he has
doesn't-
to do is pop that thing back, take out the bullet, put in the
Yeah.
new one, drop it in. He can do it one round at a time.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. and
So
then that's
it would be the normal round. You would just say, I'm putting the bullet on top and putting that in the barrel.
Yeah, it's lever action. So okay. Yeah.
It'd be easier to do with the other one, the bolt action, but lever action's still doable.
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
I imagined it would just be kind of part of the turn as far as like attacking goes.
Yeah, he would have shot with silver, but I totally forgot and didn't declare it, so I'm not gonna switch anything.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you guys had silver or not, so I didn't.
He
want to
has
assume.
6 rounds.
Okay,
That's it.
cool.
Yeah.
Adrian has a silver mine, no silver.
Funny thing is, he got the bullets from Adrian.
Yeah. Well, Adrian's got bars of silver in the bank, but
Anywho. Okay, so yeah, next round he'll do that.
Okay, and then it's gonna be Adrian's turn.
okay, so Adrian, hopefully the other two understand the Guru tongue well enough, just says real quick, hit hard, hit fast, run if you have to. And he jumps forward and claps his hands, doing a clap of thunder, spending another Gnosis point. And characters within 20 feet must succeed in a willpower roll, difficulty 8 for foes, 4 for pack mates, or be stunned and unable to act for 1 turn.
So what are you rolling?
So willpower difficulty 4,
All right, willpower. Okay.
and then you said
Well, is it all
difficulties-
around? Is it all around him or just in front of him? Because I think
In a
you guys are
circle all around him.
Oh boy. Okay.
20 feet around him. But it's a difficulty 4 for my friends and a difficulty 8 for the spiral.
Which willpower do I have? Hang on. Let's see. There we go.
I put it in the chat just to help out.
Okay.
I always get confused. There it is. I think. Oh, difficulty 4. There you go. Oh, well.
I think Isaac will be out of range.
Yeah, Isaac would be out of range for that.
All right.
It's only 20 feet.
Yeah, it's not.
Well-
He'd be further.
And then Les, go ahead and do that willpower roll. All right. Everybody makes it, even the spiral dancer.
Oh,
Damn it.
Yeah, you got
That's
one
it.
success.
That's my turn.
All right.
I got another question.
Well, sure.
I know we did the whole interaction with the ancestor spirit. That doesn't mean that I got the knowledge to use the ability yet, right?
I think I might have played out the scene like you got it, but I believe the process would be you do the thing, and then you contact the spirit again and be like, "Hey, I did it. Here's the proof," and then you get it.
Okay. All right. So
So that was a minor mistake on my end.
oh, that's okay. I just wanted to clear that up. So Heath is gonna run his claws against the stone and using his gift razor claws, and that lowers all difficulty by 1 and gives 2 additional dice for damage.
Alright.
And I believe you said I can use willpower to try to attack. Was it?
Yes, you can use willpower to basically guarantee a success.
So I want to use the willpower to try to attack.
Okay.
So, let's see. Oops, I pressed it twice.
All right, let's go with the first one.
All right. So,
All right, and then you spent a willpower, right?
yes. Let me take that off my
Okay.
thing. Give me real quick.
So that'd be basically 8 successes, 7 carries over to damage.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, yep.
Sorry, I have a question. I can't remember a rule. Can you spend willpower and rage in the same round?
I believe so.
Or was it you can't spend Gnosis and rage in the same round?
Yeah.
There's one that you can't spend in the same round.
Yeah, you can't spend rage and gnosis in the same round,
Okay.
but you can do willpower and rage.
All right. So let me roll damage.
Thank you.
Let's see. Hopefully this works out well. Damage. You said 8? Sorry, 7 extra.
Yeah, 7 extra.
Submit.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and roll his stamina. I got the stamina wrong when Isaac was doing his attack, but that's all good.
I still don't know how maybe I'm reading it wrong. I still don't know how to get the game to read the difficulty down to 5, or maybe it is. I'm not sure. I don't have to count.
Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You could put it into the combat section, and you could mark what the difficulty is.
I did that, but I just want to make sure that it does count as correctly, because it didn't the last time.
Should.
Okay, I'm counting 12 actually, and then you got 2 crits, so I think that's 14 successes. Holy shit!
And 1 failure though.
Oh,
It
1
count-
failure. Oh,
1. Yeah.
oh, right. So 13, I think.
13 successes.
All right. Okay. And then let's see how well he soaks. He soaks none of that.
Ooh, he botched it. Well, I don't think he can botch so cruels anyway. Never mind.
Yeah. All right. So, Heath, how would you like to end this spiral? I think you just basically one-shot him.
Holy shit. So seeing as Isaac shot the Black Spiral Dancer, he's just and Isaac did his thunderclap. Seeing that as a distraction, he just runs his claws against the ground before he jumps out and decapitates his head clean off.
All right, yeah, and as you drag your claws against the ground and reach up to grab a hold of this spiral dancer's neck, as you sink your claws in to start ripping and tearing the head from the spine, as you can hear the wet rip as skin and muscles tear. This spiral just lets out this loud gurgling as just it spits blood in your face, and you just rip the head off in one tug, just in one solid tug, as it doesn't even get a chance to raise its arms to claw at you.
That ruins all my fun. Isaac kind of mumbles.
He lets out a low growl as he finishes taking off the head.
Seeing that, well,
Yeah,
he's down.
I think they're all just kind of standing there like, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to happen.
He's goddamn lucky. Holy shit.
Does it turn back into a wolf? Does it stay Krynos? Does it turn into a human? What does the body do?
It stays in Krynos.
Ugh. It's a fucking metas. Makes sense. They're inbred here. He glances around, goes to Heath real fast, takes the head from him, kind of sticks it back onto the body, opens up his bag, does a Gnosis roll difficulty 6.
While Adrian's doing whatever he's doing, Isaac's going to head back down, kind of eyeing the buildings around, like the houses and whatnot, just considering something.
Okay, he pulls the bag open, sprinkles. I got 3 successes on my roll, by the way, to make the Talon work. And then he sprinkles death dust on him.
Now you know that's a slap in the face.
Okay, if we can use the Talon to do it, use the Talon to do it.
When I'm standing right here, man, he just walks off. No, he doesn't walk. He just kind of gives him a look. The one thing I can do.
And the body is still twitching a little bit with little like spurts of blood coming out of where the head used to be as you try to like kind of like I guess set it back on.
Yeah. I don't know if it talks through the body or if the spirit just comes. He just knows it's gonna talk to him.
I don't mean to interrupt your fun, Adrian, but should we...
He slaps Heath. Shut up.
Fine.
As the eyes of the decapitated head start to like swivel around a little bit, it's like as the head is partially reanimated, it's not the prettiest thing with how deformed and bat-like this spiral dancer's head is, as it looks like it just has this really bad lazy eye as it kind of drools and foams leftover blood in the mouth, and you hear this kind of little chuckle escape it as it speaks with like a raspy lisp. Very lucky.
Very dead. Doesn't really matter. How many more of you are there here?
Sorry, give me a moment to scroll up. Oh yeah, and the decapitated head gives this bloody grin as he says, "More than enough to kill you. Gaia has lost. You fight for a dead god. We dance inside her flesh in caves deep below the earth. You are trying to save the bones of a rotting corpse." And
I don't like to speak in gray areas. So if you could just tell me the number so we can kill them too, I would appreciate it.
And you can see it in like a last act of defiance. The head tries to howl or screech or whatever sound it tries to make as it just gurgles, and it doesn't have the air capacity to make much of a sound of it, as it's just a gurgling groan.
Oh God, these things.
You're the one that wanted to talk to it. I could have done it an easier way.
I can still get what I want from him. All right, listen. Creature thing. Maybe Gaia's dead. Maybe she's not. You don't know. I don't know. Who cares? One thing I do know exists is the land of Erebus. And I, as a Philodox, can send any spirit to a great big lake of molten silver. So pure that when your spirit gets out of it, it will have come back to Gaia. We can either let you die and go to hell where you want to be, or we can send you to a place where you will become pure and one of us again. Where do you want to go?
As the head just cackles madly at you at the mere suggestion of redemption.
You know how much that's going to hurt? Swimming in a lake of molten silver? How many of you are there?
And the head answers, more than enough to kill the four of you. And it adds, it's feeding time. As you hear two more howls.
I fucking knew it.
Are they both coming from the same direction? The howls?
Yes. Kind of towards the west, across the lake. And the head that you're talking to just chuckles and gurgles and says, "Here they come, to kill you or make you one of us.
He releases the spirit.
To drag you down into..."
Well, that was rude.
He talks too damn much as it is. We gotta go. Or fight.
Which one is it?
I got 6 bullets that could take care of these guys, but
We
I think
fight
your
the
claws
worm
might do
where
a
it
lot.
breeds and dwells.
Exactly.
The litany states we stay and we fight. If we need to, we die.
Right.
We should probably lead them away from here, though. I mean, obviously they were feeding this thing, but they might not know what it is.
And he grabs the ankle of the spiral and starts dragging it. Heath, get the head. And then he starts dragging it, but he's going towards the lake,
Heath
towards the where the spirals are howling.
Heath grabs the head with one clawed hand. I swear, Grandpappy, and a miracle intervention will be right about now.
You're dragging the body over to the lake?
Yeah, they're getting it out of the settlement.
Okay.
They're going towards... You said that the howls were coming from the other side of the lake?
Yes.
So they're going towards the howls, towards the lake. They have to fight.
Okay. And as you head towards the lake, along the east shore, as it kind of narrows down into a river again, you do see a bridge across.
The howls... Are the howls moving towards the bridge?
They're coming from the other side of the lake. They've died down now, as it seems like they might be waiting for a response for their fallen comrade.
Mm-hmm.
So do we call them out or do we sneak up on them?
We can
You
try
can
to
always let me do the sneaking.
a 2 for an approach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go down to the bridge, cut across, get yourself a spot, send your owl. As soon as your owl tells us, Laz, Heath, and I'll draw them out. And as whatever happens, they're going to be in between you and us. Please don't shoot us with any silver.
I'll try not to.
Okay,
No
that's
promises.
good enough for me. Anybody else have any other ideas?
Not that I can think of.
Go for it, Isaac.
So he's going to follow that plan. He probably won't use the owl because he's going to make sure that he has a good visual on the bridge. If he needs to, he would, but I don't think he does. And he would just wait and see if he sees something coming up on the other side of the bridge.
Okay.
So you send the owl back to them when you're in a good setup spot, right?
Yeah, he would do that.
Okay. So Adrian sends the owl back to him, waits a few minutes, and then basically lifts his head and howls out. Got your friend. Come get me.
And Isaac, I'm imagining the vantage point is probably like up at the waterfall that kind of leads down into the lake. And from there you have like a clear view of a good portion of Butcher's Creek. And then you also have a good view of the bridge.
Alright, that sounds good.
Yeah. And then is Isaac keeping an eye out for anything or just keeping his attention on the bridge?
He's mainly going to be scanning the bridge, the area beyond it, see if he sees anything rustling around the bushes. Basically looking for any movement in that particular area to focus on.
All right. Make a quick perception alertness for me.
Give me 1 second. Can you hit perception alertness?
Mm-hmm.
My eyes are horrible. Is right though. Did that work? Yeah. Okay. There it is.
There we go. Okay, 3. All right. All right. Give me just one moment as I.
Oh wait.
Oh,
hold
yep.
on. It's a -2 difficulty. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
So
that'd
difficulty was normally 6.
Be, yeah. So that'd be 4 successes.
Yeah, 4.
Okay. All right. As so across the bridge from Adrian, Heath, and Laz, you do see movement and on their side, they do see a pair of eyes glowing in the dark. And then along kind of not the edges of the lake, but along the edges of the tree line, you do see a rustling in the bushes as there's something on its way over to you.
Oh shit. So there's 3. I forgot, do we have pack communication yet? I think we do.
I
Do we?
I don't
No,
remember
we'd
it
have
coming
to
up.
have
We
a
don't
lot
yet.
more in the background.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Alright. He'll try to hunker down a bit more. Is it like is it coming like straight at him?
Like it's making its way up towards the waterfall. So yeah, it's heading in your direction.
Okay, he's gonna redirect his aim there then.
Okay. All right, and then I'm gonna basically keep the same initiative. So it's Isaac, Adrian, Heath, Laz, and then the spirals.
Alright.
Okay.
Then he will hold off on. He's gonna glance every now and again down towards the bridge where he's mostly focused on that rustling that's coming up towards him. The minute he sees what he can shoot, he's gonna fire.
Okay. Yeah, and then on the side of panning the camera back over to everybody else, the 3 of you see a pair of eyes staring at you from the foliage and the bushes across on the other side of the bridge. But it's not moving, just staring, as it also looks like a large shape similar to the first spiral you killed. And every now and then you see that the bats are pretty active as they're kind of fluttering in groups over the lake itself, just doing bat things.
Flutter, 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 flutter.
By now he's dropped the body, but he's staring directly at those eyes. He's just kind of waiting for them to come.
And as you have this stare down with this set of eyes, it almost seems like as if it's waiting for something to happen. And then, Isaac, go ahead and roll to hit the spiral that's heading in your direction.
Okay. Well, let's see this to deliver action. Yeah, there it is. Alright.
All right, so 2
3
carries.
successes
So 2 carries over to the damage.
and damage. These are silver.
Ooh, okay.
Oh,
I know. That's a.
I want to say that's at least 8, because you got 3 crits.
yeah. 2,
Alright.
4, 6, 7, 8. No, wait, difficulty. Hold on. 6. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 successes. Otherwise, that kind of okay.
Give me a moment as I roll something really quick for a dramatic effect.
Alright, let me remove 1 bullet. Possessions, there it is. So now he has 5 bullets for his rifle.
Alright, and then there we go. Alright, and then let's see. So that's 8 damage. Alright, so I believe I'm not 100% sure, but do you guys know if silver's soakable? I want to say it probably isn't.
Silver?
Oh, silver's aggravated damage. You can't
Yeah.
soak it.
Okay, alright, yeah, okay.
Holy shit. Usually I roll like shit when it comes to damage. I can hit like a motherfucker, but when it comes to damage, no. That was a lucky roll. I'm rolling good tonight.
I have the opposite problem. I can hardly ever hit, but when I do, good God.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna do a frenzy roll, because I believe if you get knocked down, even with aggravated, you make a rage roll, and then
Yep.
if you fail, you die. So,
Correct.
okay,
I think he comes back with like 1 hit point.
yeah.
Nope. If you go into a frenzy from dying, you go back to full hit points in Krynos,
Oh boy.
ready to attack, and
All right.
ripping everything to shreds.
So, okay, so here's what happens. Isaac, you take aim as you see the rustling start moving closer towards you as it goes up the slope, and you take the shot. And just before you pull the trigger, you see this large, massive wolf leap out of the brushes, and as it's hippo-sized, as it spreads its as it spreads its legs, and you see it gliding as this basically a wing-like webbing is attached to its limbs, and it starts to glide. And then you take the shot and basically shoot it out of the air as it lets out this loud, painful yelp, and the body, like it spins in the air as it falls into the water of the river, and then you see this hulking Krynos raging as it flails about in the water and falls into the lake. Heal for every success. Let me go check that really quick since I have the PDF open, because I know sometimes the rules can be different between editions.
That is true.
Either way, as Isaac is preparing another bullet, he cursing at all the while he calls out, "There's more than two."
Of course there is.
Oh, the one you shot is the second one.
Oh, it's the second one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My mistake.
So
Never mind. You wouldn't say that then.
there's two more, so there's three.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. So there's three total.
Yes, there's three
So
total.
yeah, he
You
would
killed
say
one,
there's more
and
than
there's two
then.
left. Yeah.
Okay.
Adrian just continues taunting. It seemed like that thing was waiting for something when the gunshot went off. Adrian put his hand up to his ear like he's comically listening for something. When they heard the thing fall into the water, he just kind of dusts his hands off as if he really, really hopes that wasn't Isaac that just fell into the water. He's just waiting for that sumbitch to come out of the woods.
Give me a second. I'm still trying to find it. I think I might have passed it. Oh, okay. It's difficulty 8. All right. Hold on. Let me check. What did? Okay. Yeah. Still one success. Okay. Success heals 1 health level of any kind of damage. Okay. All right. So the second spiral dancer is raging and flailing in the water, and he has 1 point of health left. Okay. All right. And then
The check was right. 1 health.
yeah.
I like it that way better.
All right. And then is Adrian just going to taunt?
Yeah, he's not going to go into the woods.
All right. And then I'll do a frenzy check on the other spiral. All right. So the other spiral does not go into a frenzy when you taunt it. And then what would Heath like to do?
Can you ready in action just like D&D? Is something happen, or is it
yeah.
just
You can, yeah.
He's just gonna have his claws ready, and the second that one that's looking at us comes out, he's gonna rush in and attack.
Okay.
He's just waiting for it to come out of the shadows to see where it is.
Okay. And Laz, what would you like to do?
I wish I knew magic or whatever, or Genesee.
I too would like to ready an attack action. Okay. So just waiting for it to come out of the woods.
We're having to stand still here.
All right. And then there's the raging, flailing Krynos in the lake. And gonna say he is gonna try to climb the small cliff up to Isaac, and that's what he's gonna spend his turn doing. He's gonna try to go after the target of his frenzy, and I'm gonna say that's a dexterity athletics. All right, so there's the large splash as the frenzying spiral dancer lands in the water, and then there's a few moments, there's probably a few seconds before Isaac, you see him climbing up the cliff to get back to your position, and you see the claw reach over the edge and dig into the ground as he kind of climbs up, and he's in the middle of picking himself back up before your turn comes back around.
Don't know how to stay down, do ya? While he's climbing up, actually, how close? Because if he's up on the waterfall, like, he'd just stick the rifle straight to his head and fire again, if he can do that.
I'd say yes, you can.
All right. Any modifier to difficulty, or just go for it? Excuse me.
Let's just go for it.
All right. So let's try this again. Not that I need any modifier.
All right.
That's gonna be 3. Yeah. Okay.
Is there any dramatic way you want to do it?
No, just that you just don't know how to stay down, do you? And just put the rifle against his head and fire. And that one will be that'd be one of his silver bullets. Yeah, just to make sure he's dead. So let me mark that off.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you press the barrel of the rifle against the Krynos' raging forehead, and it just lets out this guttural growl before the thunderous snap of the gunshot, and the rest of you can see the lifeless body of the raging Krynos as it shifts back into the form of a wolf and lands in the water. And you can see it kind of start to float across the surface of the water, and it's just leaving a streak of red as its blood mixes in with the water.
Isaac's gonna raise his hand, signal to the other two, don't drink the water, and then goes back to where he was sitting, just waiting. They already know he's up there, so there's no use in hiding.
All right, and then, and here I was stressing for like the last week about like, oh, I'm worried if, these 3 spirals might kill them. I gave one of them rank 2 gifts, and then this happens.
We're just rolling really freaking good today.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, the remaining spiral is gonna do a frenzy check as they watch another of their pack mates die. Doesn't frenzy.
How
All right.
far is that guy away from me?
I'd say like, I don't know, I want to say like 15, 20 feet away from the opposite side of the bridge.
So I'd have to cross the bridge to get to him.
Yeah.
How long is the bridge? How far is that?
I'd say far enough that if you really wanted to, you could probably charge at the remaining spiral and still do your attacks and stuff.
Yeah, about the time that the second body starts going downriver, he's just gonna drop down to all fours and just jet right for the guy, and probably stupid, but he's just gonna slash right at his face as soon as he gets in there.
All right, so you charge forward across the bridge, full Krynos form as the bridge seems to buckle under your weight, but it miraculously seems to manage to hold as you see the posts start to kind of bend as they start to give way a bit, and then go ahead and roll to attack. All right, so 2 carries over to the damage.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god.
He's even worse than me.
Wow.
He got 4 crits.
What is with our rolls tonight? Holy shit.
Oh my god, 4 crits. Okay, so that's 10 successes.
What?
Jesus. I told you, if I hit, my damage is exceptional every time.
The problem is, you need to hit sometimes.
Yeah.
Alright, so in order to not die, this spiral has to get at least 3 successes.
That's
So we'll see what happens. So that's okay. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So takes. Okay, so that's 6 aggravated, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so daring Adrian charges across the bridge, swings a claw at the spiral's face as it sees you make the approach, and it doesn't back down. It leaps out to meet you in battle as you just claw and dig across its face. Claws scraping against bone as you claw one of its eyes out, and you just shred one eye as it pops, and it just runs down the side of this spiral's face like a runny egg. And yeah, and you basically like you take like a massive chunk of skin off, clawing it down to the bone. And of course Heath and Laz also get a turn before it can act. So Heath, what would you like to do?
Heath curses like that's this goddamn idiot, and he's gonna rush in through the bridge as well. And to make sure that it doesn't fail, I'm gonna use another willpower to make it succeed and attack the Spirit Dancer.
Okay.
And so with that in mind, I gotta get used to this then. This one right here. So, that will be, let's see, hang on. 1, 2, 3.
Looks like 4 successes. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, no, 3. Oh wait, sorry. Was it because of the razor claws? Was it difficulty 4 now for your attacks?
Difficulty 5.
Difficulty 5. Okay.
It lowers it by 1.
All right. So 3 successes, 2 carries over to the damage.
Is that with willpower? then?
Oh, sorry. So
That's 4 successes, 3 carryover.
yeah, 3 carry over.
So damage 3 carry over. Dee-dee!
All right. Okay. So 2. All right. That 2 damage is going to be enough to finish it off. But it has to make a rage roll first as it goes into a frenzy. So difficulty 8. All right. So 3 successes as it frenzies, and you can see as Heath, you claw at it too, taking another kind of flanking it from another side alongside Adrian, as you watch as it goes into a frenzy, eyes turning a bright red as as the spiral dancer's body goes into emergency mode, and you see it partially heals its face as the whatever skin and muscle that Adrian managed to claw off and reveal bone, you see the muscle start to stitch itself back together as it's still red and raw. And then Laz, Laz, it's your turn.
Last, finish it off.
Russian with a Krynos bite. All right, so 2 successes. All right, yeah. So all right, so you got so the 1 cancels out 1 success, so you got a crit. So 2. I'm sorry, I just had a massive brain fart. So the 1 cancels out 1 success. You got 2. So I believe that's 4. So 3 carries over because 2 10s doubles it. Yeah. So 3 carry over to the damage. All right, Laz, how would you like to finish off this spiral dancer as you go in for the kill? Chomp on its neck. Okay. Yeah. So as Adrian and Heath are on both sides of this spiral dancer, its face half torn off as you see the muscle just underneath the skin. Laz swoops in on all fours, leaps up, and takes a chomp out of its throat as it starts to let out some kind of shout or howl or yell, but it's cut off as blood sprays and it's choking on its own blood as it starts to stumble and teeter on its feet before it falls over and collapses. And Laz, because you have a certain flaw, go ahead and make a willpower roll difficulty 5 for me. All right, and then so Laz, you for a moment you're taken back to when your family died, to your first change, and just the enjoyment you get from killing, or not so much killing as just inflicting violence, and you hold off on, well, I'm gonna leave it up to you, Laz, but you have a moment where you have that temptation to just keep inflicting violence on the spiral dancer's body even after it's dead. And I will leave it up to you because you have a lot of willpower. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to take advantage of your sadist flaw. Okay, yeah, you take a moment to savor the taste of the blood, the rush, the adrenaline of battle. And there are no others left. All 3 of them are dead.
Did this one stay Krynos as well?
This one also stayed Krynos.
Chop its head off. Take it with us.
Heath uses his claws to cut the head clean off.
He sniffs a bit around, sees if he smells any more, and take it. He probably doesn't. And then he howls out for Isaac, knowing he's still alive. But says, "We got him. We got them."
Right. Isaac takes that confirmation, heads back down to where they are.
He sniffs around a bit more. He's going to see if they can actually track where they came from, just to be sure that if there is a pit, even a small one, that it's cleared.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception alertness for me.
Probably one success there.
Yeah, one success as you... it doesn't take long for you to find the tracks. They're large, Krynos-sized tracks. And you can also see that there are groups of bats flying kind of in and out and around in the woods here, and following the trail of tracks and kind of following the bats too, in a way. You find what looks like an abandoned mine. It's not very far from the water source either.
He calls the others to him.
Heath gets there second, well, technically second, and looks at the cave.
Yeah, Isaac's staying behind the group, so he'll probably be behind Laz, just following along, kind of keeping an eye out.
Now we get to see if our luck holds.
What are we doing?
Is the cave so small that they can't fit in Krynos? Is there going to be a serious problem with this?
Yeah, the four of you definitely can't fit in there in Krynos. You could probably squeeze in with Hispo, but it looks like the biggest you could probably go would be Glabro. It's definitely...
Well, Adrian's tiny, so even as Hispo is tiny, so he might be able to do that more comfortably, but...
It's definitely a human-sized cave.
Heath will transform into a Glabro in order to fit into the cave.
Yeah, before they go in, he's just going to sniff for a while longer and listen. He's just going to be sure.
Okay. Yeah, all you really hear is the bats fluttering around. Like, they're not pursuing you or being aggressive in any way. They're just normal bats. And you see that, and as the four of you approached, you caught a glimpse of maybe the last few bats before the cave is empty of bats.
The mine. Yeah, they'll go down. Careful. They're hopefully not gonna get lost in a place like this.
Yes, you can be in Lupus for the cave.
Yeah, Adrian's gonna try and do it in Hispo, because he's smaller. If he can't make it, then he'll just go down to Lupus.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be in Glabro form.
Isaac's staying Hamid.
Okay. Yeah, as the four of you go into the cave, or into the mine, and it's not very deep. It looks like whoever dug the mine didn't go very far in before realizing that they weren't going to find what they were looking for. But you enter this kind of square-shaped, essentially, a box almost. A square-shaped box-shaped room, and you see the support beams. There's puddles of this really gross water, and there's leftover mining equipment, mostly wheelbarrows and maybe some leftover old rusted mining picks, and not really much else. Nothing of value. You do see like a pile of bones in the corner, and it stinks down here. The spirals were living here, without a doubt. And in one wall of this mine, looks like there's a really tight opening. You could probably squeeze through in Glabro, but it's just the right size for a Lupus to squeeze through too.
Adrian, being the smallest, will shift down to Lupus and tell them, hold on a second, I'll see how far this goes, and starts to go inside.
Okay, and it goes in a fair way deep, before it starts to open up into this large open cavern. And there's, on one side of this cavern, there's an opening where you can see the light of the moon beaming in, and the light shines on just a gory scene as you see these dead human bodies. Looks like they all look like in some capacity official in some way. You're not sure if they're with the government or some sort of mining company. But the water here it's definitely tainted with something. And scattered throughout this cavern is various macabre effigies of just human bones and skin splayed out. It's a nasty sight.
Does this look like the kind of area that at one point would have been a cairn? It's natural, right? This part of the
Yeah,
area is
this
a cave?
part, yeah, this part of the cave is natural. Do an intelligence occult for me. Okay, 2 successes. As from the looks of it, this could have been a cairn. This could have been the heart of a cairn. You don't know the history of this area, but
Are there... He's going to walk around the outside edge real fast.
Mhm.
Just quick glance. Are there any glyphs? I mean, I know the spirals would have probably carved their own glyphs as well, but are there any glyphs or maybe glyphs that the spirals tried to scratch off?
yeah, I'll say yeah. The spirals added some of their own glyphs, but you do see the remnants of cave paintings, and looks like the cave paintings depict a very early history of this area. You recognize the glyph for the Uktena, the glyph for the Wendigo, and then there's a third glyph, maybe one that Adrian isn't familiar with. But you see that with that glyph is the depiction of a turtle.
Turtle people, yep.
Yep.
He's heard of them, doesn't know much about them other than they're gone. He howls out, calls them to come in. He'd check out what they just found.
He squeezes in there, crushes himself and squeezes through the room, and he looks around once he pops out of the hole. So, what are we looking at?
A lost cairn.
Karen?
Cairn. You know the place we have the mood at every month?
Yeah.
Where the sept is, there's a cairn with the spirit living in. This used to be a cairn. This was the heart of a cairn.
And as you continue looking at the remnants of the cave paintings, Adrian, you can see that it definitely tells some kind of story, but the spirals have desecrated it. There's parts missing. You think it's probably the history of the formation of the cairn and probably a record of the cairn itself, but there's massive gaps where the spirals have either scratched parts of it out or put in their own glyphs, just making a mockery of Guy and Garu.
So basically this is where the great warrior came out and fought this spirit, and then he went over here and did this, and then he went back and had apparently gay sex with his own father.
I see.
I don't see why that part of the story is all that important, but it's there.
Yeah, that's what the spirals have put in. But the actual story is more the unity of the three tribes, probably a battle with the spirit, and then the formation of a cairn, and it's just a lost remnant of a past that's probably forgotten, or mostly forgotten. But as far as you can tell, since normally when you're in the heart of a cairn, you can kind of feel the umbra being close. In this place, there's no sense of the umbra. The cairn is dead.
Bad, but still pretty good history. I guess we should start riding back for home soon.
That'd be a great idea. We came what we came here to do.
He memorizes this place pretty well. Just looking around, and remembers, of course, how to get back and everything. Turns and leaves the place.
This gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Almost tempted to take a look beyond the veil to see what's still around here, but I don't know if that's a good idea.
We'll come back one of these days. Have a good look-see.
You know, there might be a moonstone around here, if this is a fallen cairn. See, even he agrees.
I'm not sure that the spirals would have left a moonstone.
It'd be corrupted, but it would be here. Because they need moon bridges too.
Yep, fuck it, let's look for the moonstone. Look for anything that we can find. Talents, anything we can learn from them to know what they're capable of and all that other crap.
Okay, I'll look around and see what I can find. Do I need to roll perception or something?
Let's do a perception and investigation for everybody that wants to look.
Can Isaac shift to Lupus first before doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, this is.
Because that's going to drop his difficulty to 2.
He'll switch to.
Hey, he's going to take advantage of whatever little perks he has. He doesn't have many.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Perception and what? Investigation?
Yeah, perception and investigation.
So that's 5. Alright.
I will also turn on to little doggy form and try to search out that way. Ooh.
What's the diff?
Let's go with difficulty 6. So standard diff.
So -2 for being in lupus.
Plus 4. Ta-da! Wow, my thing's hit.
To -2. Yeah, I don't need. I'm going to laugh if it's just all fucking ones.
Close. Put a little stick up there and it's 7.
Alright, give me just a moment. So it looks like everybody's getting at least 1 success. So
I've got 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 3 or 4. No, 4. Begin doggy form.
Alright, so searching around, the 4 of you do find some things. Besides where the spirals probably slept and ate their food, you do find some objects. You find these small glass jars, and they seem to be filled with this kind of black, like this black, nearly congealed gunk, and it smells awful. So you find maybe 2 of those jars filled with the stuff. And then you also find a jar, another jar, a larger jar, like about like mason jar sized, and it looks like it has like a human eye inside of it floating around in the water.
Yeah, we'll take those with us.
Okay.
Yeah. Better have a third look at that crap.
Too bad we couldn't find a moonstone or thingy.
I have a feeling we'll be back here anyway. Don't worry about it. Yeah, let's get out of here before those inbred rednecks wake up again.
Yeah, we probably should leave. I got a grandpappy to talk to.
Yeah, if we can find him again.
And Laz speaks up. Oh yeah, are those townsfolk gonna be okay? Will the spirals blame them for what happened, do you think?
Well, from what I understand, they've been feeding them.
Well, they've been feeding them, so we gotta keep our eye on the place. They could just be ignorant townfolk thinking that, or realizing that if they just throw deer up on their roof, whatever's coming and killing them isn't gonna kill them. It's gonna come eat the deer. Could be survival. Could be them doing their job for their dark overlords. I don't know. We'll have to keep our eye on it, just like everything else. Yeah, let's just get out of here for now.
Alright, let's go.
And Laz says, I see.
Laz, if the spirals wanted to come back and kill everybody in that city, they might even be able to do it. I don't think there's much we'd be able to do about it anyway. They're not as cohesive as we are, really. They're just animals.
Away we go.
Yeah, so they take their heads as prizes because they're bringing those things back. And they're going to ride on back to Saint Denis.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, by the following morning, you arrive back in Saint Denis.
Do we need to do anything special to these things while entering the city?
Yeah, we need to keep them hidden. That's about it.
Oh, it doesn't corrupt anything around this area?
Don't worry about it. I mean, if you mishandle them or whatever, yeah, sure, they could corrupt things for a little bit, but don't go waving it around and don't let it bleed on anything. It should be fine.
Yes, waving around a large, hyena-like face around the public would go well.
Yeah. So yeah, they go to the warden, the one that gave them all the talents.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go visit her first.
All right, yeah, and you find her that morning, outside her small building. Looks like she's talking to 1 or 2 of the police officer kinfolk, discussing defense for the upcoming rite in the next few weeks. And she sees you approach and kind of motions for you to walk inside. And it's still pretty early in the morning, so there isn't really anybody else. You probably see it's just her right now, and looks like on her desk she was in the middle of cleaning some of the guns in the armory. And she says, "Well, how did the hunt go?"
He motions for the guys to grab the heads, and they go in. They're still covered, of course, but they go in, and when she asks that, he turns around to Heath, takes off probably the jacket or whatever that was on the head, picks it up by its nasty bat ears, and plops it right down on her desk.
It went well.
I can see that.
Oh, right. We did promise to give you back the stuff that we didn't use. And Heath puts the little gourd that Adrian gave him before they left. Thank you, though. I guess I didn't need to use it.
Well, looks like you guys had a good hunt. And she takes the talons back.
There were two others, too.
Yeah,
he handed over too.
Yeah, the two breasted guy, and then I think it was like a moon seal.
Yeah, the moon.
Yeah.
Adrian was talking more about the spirals. There were two other spirals. They've got two heads.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Anna nods and says, "Well, yeah, I'll let the elders know you did this. So 2 heads, killed 3 spirals. That's a good hunt. That's a pack."
Yep.
So how's the town? That Butcher's Creek, I think it was.
I have a feeling that the town's filled with Fomor, but it could be the fact that the 3 spirals were holed up in a dead cairn that's been tainting the entire area, and that's why they're so deformed. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We're also going to have to talk to Moon's Shadow about getting some Thurges out there to cleanse the area, especially where the cairn is dead. Yeah, shit, I should have led with that. We found a lost dead cairn and spirals.
And you watch as like she's impressed with the spirals, and then you mention the dead cairn. She's like, "Wait, what?" And then you explain everything. And she says,
We're blessed.
"Well, shit, the 4 of you must be blessed by Gaia or something with some extraordinarily good luck."
Yeah, about that.
Just good rolls.
I guess.
We have a great RNG. Don't ask.
It's just when push comes to shove, I guess we can push on through.
Well, don't sell you guys. Don't sell yourselves.
Me too, man.
Don't-
Me too.
Don't sell don't sell yourselves short. You did amazing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to get to Moon's Shadow.
I have a question, I guess, for both of you. What do I grab to show my proof once I communicate with the spirit again, or when I can?
The warder here is going to tell the elders what we did and that we have proof. Then we are going to go to Moon's Shadow, tell her about the lost dead cairn. Then we're going to say there's proof here with witnesses that know you did what you were tasked to do.
Okay.
She will tell your elder or your ancestor when she's ready for you to get your thing.
All right.
And then a thing that's mentioned in the rulebook too, as far as like renown goes and deeds and stuff. There's multiple ways that you can go about it, but from what I understand, spirits can kind of sense, so to speak, when you've stuck to your word. Like I know the book mentions like the argument of like whether you get renown automatically when you do something or if you have to tell people about it. From how that I've been kind of doing it, it's like you do it, you get the renown, the spirits probably know about it because, you know, there's spirits everywhere and I imagine word gets around. But then you have to tell other Garu about it to get that permanent renown and really make it count.
All right.
So like think of it as like the stuff that your character does that's kind of in their like spiritual essence and other spirits can pick up on it.
Oh, okay.
I guess would be the best way to explain it with how I do it. And then that,
Sounds about right to me.
yeah, like for example, well, if in the other game that I play in, we were going, we went to this Umbra realm where you have to have like ID cards for like in order to go deeper in, and the spirits would read the essence of the ID cards, and they would think you're whoever the ID card says you are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, and the warrior says, yeah, I'll let the elders know and let Moon's Shadow know too.
Excellent. I figured it'd be best to leave the heads here instead of be walking around the city showing everybody, so play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
So next they'll go find Moon's Shadow.
All right, and you find Moon Shadow. I'm drawing a blank on where she would be in the morning, but I'd say probably, you know what, she's probably on her way over to the Sept leader. So you catch her on the way to the local church. You find her kind of walking over along the street, and she says, besides Adrian and Heath, is there anybody else coming along, or is it the entire pack?
It's the gift thing, right? Sorry, I was kind of pulled away for a second to do something for work. If it's just mostly a Heath and Adrian thing, Isaac wouldn't, but otherwise, yeah, he'd go along.
Well, it's gonna be more or less to tell her of the
No, Karen and everything.
Karen.
Yeah, he'd definitely come along then.
They will schedule a time for Moon's Shadow to deal with Heath's thing. That's as she sees fit kind of thing, but getting the
Right.
information about the Cairn is what's most important. And the fact that they're so badass that they killed 3 spirals and don't even have a scratch to show for it.
Isn't that a bad thing
RNG,
usually?
man.
Hmm?
No, not really. I mean, it's great to have scars and leave them there to show your battles, but I mean, if you can kill them before they even have a chance to actually hurt you, that's good
Yeah.
too.
I mean, you can go up to your cousin and sit there and say, "Yeah, I have this scar because I killed the spiral, and I have this scar from a
So, you got
this," and all of
hit?
a sudden you look up, you say, "I have no scars. I kill them before they can hit me." You know,
I see.
badass.
That
There's
is
there's
indeed.
different ways to look at it. So yeah, they're gonna ride up to Moon's Shadow, all 4 of them, and he's gonna get off his horse and walk leading it, but walk with her so they can talk like normal people instead of talking down to her. Morning, Ryan. The night is catching up to me finally. We found the spirals we were looking. Well, the spiral we were looking for, and his 2 friends. We dealt with them, and then we found a dead Cairn.
And what she's impressed, and then when you mention the Cairn, you definitely have her full attention, and she says, a dead Cairn. Really? Where did you find it?
Well, we'll talk specifics in the church as long as it's safe to talk in front of everybody there. We'll not talk about it on the road. We'll just walk you to the church.
And she nods as you walk with her to the church, and it's a quiet morning in the church. The morning sunlight kind of catches in the painted glass and shines the illuminated image over the pews, and you see Apollo's Vengeance and a few of the other Black Furies, and there's actually a pack that you don't recognize, but they keep to themselves. They seem to be visiting, probably talking some stuff over with her. And when Margaret is done, she walks over to Moon's Shadow and the 4 of you, and gives you all a warm smile, and she says, "So I heard the 4 of you went to hunt spirals." And Moon's Shadow interjects, and they didn't just find spirals. And then she lets Adrian fill in the rest.
So he basically tells them the story. The Butcher's Creek, Butcher's Bay.
Yeah,
whatever. I should remember that name. I don't know why. Anyways, he explains to him the kind of people that were there, and it's like hard to tell if they're from war or if they're just inbreds. So want to keep our eye on it. The whole area is twisted. So we find the spiral. We kill that one. We hear his friends howling, so we go out on the hunt for them. Isaac kills one by himself. Me, Laz, and Heath go out and kill the third one after telling him that Heath killed the first one by.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mm.
Anyways, they to finish the job out, they went and found where they came from, and in the back of that cave there was a crack that when you go through it, and he explains to him the glyphs and the turtle and the a lot of it's altered, but if these people are innocent people, we need to figure out a way to purify the land and get them into a better living situation. And if they're not good people, we need to purify the land and then purify them with fire.
and they both nod, and Moon's shadow says, "I'm sure the Uktena would be interested in hearing about the lost cairn. I'll be sure to send someone over across the moon bridge to inform them, and we can have some of their Thurges come over and see what they know about the cairn." I would propose that, as much as I would love to revive the cairn, I don't know if we have enough manpower here to defend it, but it's certainly good to know that it exists. Maybe we can do something with it.
Well, we'll see what happens, as always.
And Margaret nods and says, "Well, I can have some of the sisters here go out and check in on the townsfolk. We have a few kinfolk in the sisterhood. Maybe they can figure out if they are Fomori spiral kinfolk or just people that live in the wrong place at the wrong time." From the sounds of it, from the sounds of your story, it sounds like they were more fearful of the spirals rather than respectful. But the stories I've heard about how they treat their kinfolk, and then she just trails off a little bit and just grimaces.
Yeah, there's more tribes than one that actually think that their kinfolk should fear them more than respect them. So we can't take anything off the table, of course, but my hope is that these poor individuals will have a little bit better life once the area is cleaned up a little bit and they realize that their midnight visitors aren't coming back.
And Moon Shadow speaks up again, and she says, Did you speak with any of them? Did they all seem tainted? Were any of them clear of mind, so to speak?"
There's an old man with a banjo. He told us that they don't like strangers around there and that we should probably leave before the devils come at night. But he also said that the other people, I don't know, some might like them, some might not. I don't know.
Well, we'll see what we can find out. And Margaret says, well, thank you, Blood Moon's Vengeance. I'm looking forward to seeing Wedding of the Night's performance in the coming moot. We have the Rite of the Winter Winds coming up. We're all going to be visiting the Uktena Sept, and we will be joining part in their traditions for the rite. They do it differently. I'm familiar with the Child of Gaia tradition, but not familiar with the Uktena's way of doing things.
Sounds like a good chance to learn something new.
And Moon Shadow says, well, I have a few more things to speak to Margaret about, but I'll see the four of you later. And then she says, and Heath, find me later today or tomorrow. We'll speak to that ancestor of yours.
All right, ma'am.
And we'll see if we can both impress him and also apologize for that small fumble when you first spoke to him. And Margaret looks like she doesn't know what she's talking about, but just kind of gives a little nod and is like, whatever, it's Thurge business. And the two of them split off to discuss Sept-related things.
My job well done.
Well, the job done at least.
What was that?
Yeah.
Hmm?
So,
Yeah, he says his goodbyes and he steps out of the church and just looks around. He's like,
Goodness.
And as the four of you are on your way out, Laz says, "Huh? I thought we did well."
Oh, we did great.
we did quite well.
It could have been worse. So we kind of lucky stars that we made it unscathed. That's what we did.
I have a feeling it's not going to be the last of seeing these spirals. At least these ones anyway, but they had a bigger pack. I don't know.
I thought you guys said that there weren't any spirals this far in where we are.
Not known of.
Yeah, sometimes they can be kind of sneaky.
Alright. I hope that we can improve from all this. Although, since we're Guru, does this mean that we have the ability to do combination attacks? You know, like a normal pack of wolves.
Of course.
You mean pack tactics?
Oh, is that what we call them?
You
Yeah,
mean
we
like
can do that?
working together in concert kind of deal?
Yeah, like combination of techniques.
Those are pack tactics. You can actually pick up moves and stuff like that, which is kind of what they're going for. They're starting to do that. Well,
So now what? Do we go and try to get some sleep after being up all night, or head to the bar, my favorite place?
if I were you, I'd keep your head clear.
All right.
You're going to go see that elder today. They might not be, I don't know, you never know. They might not believe that we actually did what we did.
Well, said elder sent me to kill a black spirit to begin with, so he either has high expectations of me or expected me to fail. One of the two.
We'll see.
I honestly can't wait. Well, since if we're gonna be a while before we meet up with Moonshadow again, I think I'm gonna head to the Totem Shrine and try to be more spiritual aware. Is that what the word? Yeah, spiritual aware. Oh, that's it. I'm gonna meditate.
You're going to go meditate. Okay.
Meditate or try to build on the shrine however I can, and properly feed the totem.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm thinking that we need to do that. Just in case we have to split apart, it'd be better to communicate if we can just hear each other instead of speaking, giving
Oh.
away position.
The totem can do that?
Eventually.
Oh.
As we become when we become a more cohesive pack, we could talk to her spirit, see what we can do.
That's actually pretty cool. Pretty rad. No, sorry, wrong word. That's pretty swell. There you go. That's the right age. That's the right time word. Swell.
Alright then.
So, well, if you guys need me, I'll be by the shrine. And he just walks off and heads towards the shrine, the totem shrine.
All right. Oh, and I was actually thinking, for Isaac getting Leap of the Fray, like the book says cat spirit, but I mean, I would imagine like any predator could teach you the gift. So like
Probably,
I would argue probably an owl could too. So we could say that you learn it from your spirit companion.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
And I'm not just saying that because I can't think of what a cat spirit would want.
Mice.
Sure you are. Now I gotta wonder, where the hell is he gonna... Well, how would he get a hold of a hyena spirit? I guess he could just do a travel.
Yeah, you could travel. You could probably find a Thurge and have them summon it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thurge is probably going to be the easiest one. A hyena would be all the way over in Africa, and that's like I imagine would be an entire quest thing. Oh, or you could do a coyote maybe.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Because the Nuisha have a ability or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say you could find a coyote spirit then.
Alright.
Yeah, and since it's an inauspicious gift and stuff, don't have to roleplay it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, so, what do Adrian and Laz want to do? Are they just going about their daily business?
Yeah. Adrian will probably go working on the shrine later on, but for now he'll let Heath have time alone over there.
What does a Yotin Yi talk about? The Yotin Yin?
Coyote and hyena?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, so there's more than one type of shapeshifter in the setting. Laz, you mentioned giant bats. There were bat shapeshifters, but the Shadow Lords killed them while exploring South America. The Shadow Lords found the Bat Changers and killed them. But there are coyote shapeshifters too. Yeah, poor bats. But one of the cool plot hooks that I like for modern day stuff is that, like, if this was a present day game, there would be a small group of Shadow Lords that are trying to restore Bat as a totem. Because after they killed all the Bat Changers, the totem spirit basically fell to the Wyrm, and the modern day Shadow Lords are trying to redeem their past actions by restoring the totem. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Alright, so how soon does Heath want to talk to his ancestor again?
As soon as she's free,
Okay.
he'll head over to the main estate, or if Adrian summons him, he'll head over there.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably later in the day for sure. You get your meditation in, you clean up the shrine around the different totems that Adrian has set up, and you meet up with Moon Shadow, and she performs the rite to summon the spirit again. And as the two of you are in the Umbra, you hear the distant sound of bagpipes as Sebastian O'Connor, judges the truth, appears, and Moon's Shadow lets you hold the bag that has the head of the spiral dancer as Sebastian eyes you up and down in his full Krynos form and says, "So you made it back alive."
Did you expect it any less from your offspring? And he shows the head of the black spiral dancer.
Do you hold it up, or do you let it drop to the ground?
I hold it up.
Okay. Yeah, you hold it up, and
by ears.
yeah, you hold it up by the large bat ears as the tongue kind of is rolled out a little bit, and you see that Sebastian has this big grin on his face, and he says, "Good. I thought you were just a disrespectful whelp, but I see that you have some potential in you after all. I look forward to hearing the stories of this battle."
Indeed, sir. But I'll let my packmate tell that story better than I. And I promise I will make you proud as a fellow Silver Fang.
And he gives the nod, and he steps forward to reach his large hand out to you, and he says, "You've earned the gift, Heath O'Connor, Fire Render." And he touches your forehead, and you know the gift Fangs of Judgement now.
He looks at his hands for a moment and then looks back at his ancestor and says, "Thank you, sir. I want to use this power to continue my endeavors, both personal and for the sake of my pack."
Yeah, Laz, without a flick this time. A minor retcon. And he gives a nod and says, "I know you will." And then Moon's Shadow finishes up the ritual, says her goodbyes, and then the ancestor disappears, and the sound of the bagpipes fades out into the distance as well. And Moon Shadow gives a nod and says, I think that went rather well. Better than last time from what he was telling me."
Yeah, I'm still new at this whole talking to my great something grandfather. I am sorry. I kind of asked Adrian of this, and well, he complied, even though he wasn't sure how to do it to begin with.
Oh no, I already talked to Adrian about it. You're not at fault. He should have known better. But don't worry about it. It's already dealt with and done.
Indeed. I can't wait to test this new gift out in the field soon.
Well, from how things have gone for your pack, that is probably going to be very soon.
All to defeat the one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again, ma'am. We couldn't have done it without you. Well, I couldn't have done it without you this time. Quite literally.
Oh, you're welcome. If you need anything else, just let me know, or let any of the other Thurges know.
I will, ma'am. Learn my lesson this time around.
And she gives a nod and says, yeah, I know you did. And as you split your ways, she gives you like a reassuring pat on the shoulder before she heads off on her way.
I feel like I forgot something. It must have been nothing, I guess. Heath heads back to where Adrian and the others are. And that once Moon's shadow is gone, and he comes in and says, I finally did it! He didn't call me a failure this time.
Oh, not bad.
Oh, by the way, Adrian, did you ask Moonshadow about that weird gunk that we found in the cairn?
I think you're muted.
You're just not here potentially.
Not yet. I forgot about it.
We can just hand wave it and say you did.
That's fine too. Hell, I'm pretty sure they'd want to take it for themselves and figure out what it is anyway.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, we'll say that while while Heath was meditating, Adrian probably took what he found to Moon's Shadow, and she's taking care of it. So yeah, we'll just hand wave it.
Okay.
All right, and then was there anything else that anybody wanted to do? As far as like I guess downtime scenes.
I'm good for now.
Okay.
Same as well.
All right.
Yes. If you wanted to do that, Spirit of the Free thing, we can either write it out or do one-on-one or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'd say we can write it out.
Or hand wave. Okay.
Yeah, not too worried about it.
Alright.
Yeah, I wanted to do the thing with Heath since he has like the dots and ancestors and all that stuff.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, so the days leading up to the seasonal rite are relatively peaceful. You guys get to put in some time for the local sept chores, helping out, keeping watch. It's just a generally pretty peaceful time. The Iron Rider and Bonar packs are out and about during the next 2 weeks, so the elders ask that you guys stay either on or around Sept grounds just to help out and keep an eye on the place. And then there's one evening where there's a panicked knock on the door.
He goes and answers it.
And you see it's one of the Bonar kinfolk. We'll say his name is John, and he looks pretty panicked, and he says, Is Laz around?
He calls out for Laz to see if he's there.
And John the kinfolk...
And motions for the kinfolk to come in.
Yeah, and he comes in. He looks like he's one of the homeless, and he has like a little beat up jacket and a hat with a few holes in it. Yeah, Laz, as you come down and say, yeah, the John the kinfolk, he looks relieved to see you, and he says, yeah, it's Laz, I need your help. I don't know where Myrtle is. I don't see any of her friends around. I know a guy. His name's Bill. He doesn't know anything about Garu or anything. He's not kinfolk, but he's a friend of mine, and I think he got himself in some trouble. He doesn't look too great. And Laz, you say, oh, where is he? And John, he looks out the door and says, yeah, I'll show you. And he heads out. He's in a rush, definitely. He almost doesn't wait for you guys to follow. But he says, I found him over by the docks in one of the alleys near the market. He wasn't moving. I don't know. He couldn't move, but it looked like he was still breathing. It didn't look like he got mugged or stabbed or anything. And he starts to lead the way.
Adrian goes ahead and grabs his handguns, his hat, and his jacket. And once he's out in the yard, he whistles for Isaac and Heath.
Alright, Isaac goes along. See what's going on.
I'm curious too.
And you're led through the city and led into the poorer side of town by the docks and to the market, and you see the man that John was talking about, Bill. As you see, there's two other homeless, like kind of propping him up against the wall, and he has like this kind of patchwork blanket kind of wrapped around him as he looks like he's shivering, and he looks like he's in rough shape, but you can hear his ragged breathing as one of the other homeless speaks up and says, "Yeah, he was frozen stiff as a board when John left to go get you guys. He's starting to loosen up a little bit." And that's when Bill, it sounds like he's trying to say something, but you guys can see on his neck, it looks like a bite mark.
Like a vampiric or something bigger?
Yeah, can we do a roll to see
Yeah.
what if you know?
Do a intelligence occult.
Well, oh no.
Well, I mean, does it look like a human bite or an animal bite?
It looks like a human bite, like at a glance.
All right.
I'm too stupid. No, I'm normal.
Intelligence.
I have-
Give me one second.
I have no occult knowledge whatsoever.
Well, no, it's gonna matter. 5?
Oh god.
All right, yeah. So
I got 1.
2, 4, no, 4. Wait, why did they say 5 successes? What do I got? Oh shit! Hold on.
you got
That
two.
was supposed to be 2
well,
10s.
yeah, you got 2 10s. So
That's supposed to be 4 successes. All right.
yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, yeah. So seems fitting that the silent strider would get the most successes, but for all intents and purposes, it looks like a vampire bite.
Where did this happen?
As John speaks up and points to the alley and says, "Well, I found him over there."
The guy's not awake yet, right?
He's awake. He looks like he's paralyzed, and it's starting to wear off. Oh, and I should also add that Isaac, it looks like a vampire bite, but you know that normally they cover their tracks really well.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual. Where did he say this was?
It's in an alley over by the docks, and right next to the market, the city market. Like they pulled the guy out of there, and they're basically sitting around right next to the alley.
We should check
Go
it
in
out.
and check it out.
Yeah.